Mimic is a 1997 creature feature directed by Guillermo del Toro. 3 years after scientists release a new species of insect to wipe out disease-carrying cockroaches, they begin to suspect that the new species has evolved into something far more dangerous. But before we get into this creepy, crawly compilation, I just want to ask that if you end up enjoying this video, then please consider dropping a like and maybe even subscribe, as it would really help my channel grow. So thanks. Also, there will be full spoilers ahead, but if that doesn't bother you, then grab your millionaire shortbread-flavoured popcorn and whip out your favourite bullet ant as we dive into the Mimic Trilogy. So the movie begins with a snowy day in New York City, which would be lovely if it wasn't for the cockroach plague killing all the children, but you can't have everything go right all the time, can you? We then get some opening credits determined to give you a seizure, and hey, this movie is directed by Guillermo del Toro. Del Toro? What's he done again? That movie with the vampiric scarab beetle? Never heard of it. Next. That film where the lady fucked a fish. Man. Are you just making these up? I wish I was, Ken. I wish I was. Then we're in this hospital where we meet our protagonist, who I'm going to call Romy. And she's sick of all the children dying because they look sad and gross. So she's come up with a plan to stop the cockroach plague. She's genetically engineered a new breed of insect, which produces a chemical capable of spreading through the cockroach population to kill them all. So she goes down into the sewers in a hazmat suit designed for someone with an exceptionally large head, and says, "I am opening the unusual shaped box and releasing the foaming arse bug," which quickly attracts all the nearby roaches like, "Free foam over here! Come and get your tasty free foam! Guaranteed not to kill ya!" We then see the aftermath. A metric crap ton of dead roaches. Oh, I reckon you could make a proper good burger out of all them. Just smush them together and bang them in a bun with loads of barbecue sauce. Lovely. Afterwards, this fella from the Centre of Disease Control spreads the word that the roach plague has been defeated, so no more children will die. Yay! Well, apart from the ones who've already got the disease who are still gonna die. Aww. Turns out Mr. CDC is also Romy's fella. He's called Peter Mann, with 2 N's, so I'm gonna call him Mr. Mann. Anyway, to celebrate a job well done, they take a fully clothed bath. But I tell you, the apartment below them's gonna be pissed. 3 years later, and we see this old fella running away from something menacing, saying, "Leave me alone, demon! I'm not a real priest! It's just a Halloween costume!" But his assailant gives no shits, leaving him between a drop and a hard place. He opts for the drop, with his pursuer like, "Where are you going, you silly goose? You know I'm gonna get you." But then he slips off the platform and splats on the ground, with his white blood revealing that he was actually an android pretending to be a human pretending to be a priest. Watching this from across the street is this kid, whose name is Chewy. Anyway, the kid's got autism, so I don't really want to say anything mean about him. His pyjamas, on the other hand, are fucking hideous. So he treats himself to a lal spoon knee clicking as he watches the android being dragged into the basement of this building by a shadowy figure, but he ends up getting stuck. Nah, he's never going to get him through that. Wiggle all you want, mate, you're not getting him through that. Oh, he has done. I guess I'll shut up then.
Funny shoes.
They aren't that funny, you cheeky little shit. The next morning, and the place is a crime scene, where we meet Baby Brolin, snacking down on some pistachios because he loves sucking on salty nuts. He works for Mr. Mann, who shows up and quarantines the area after they find some weird shit, literally, hanging from the ceiling inside this church. Ew. Back to Romy, who returns home with her friend to find these 2 kids waiting outside her apartment, wanting to sell her some bugs they found. And man, this kid has some rather pronounced front teeth, doesn't he? But again, I'd feel bad for making fun of him, so instead I'll criticise his haircut, which is goofy as fuck. I'm going to call these kids Chomper and Chonker. So they show her the butterflies they found, and Chonker says they've also found something extra special, but it'll cost her. What do I want with a box of cornflakes? Nah, it's what's in the box which you'll want. Cornflakes? No, it's... I'll give you $10 for the cornflakes. But it's not... $20. Listen, it's not... $50 and a copy of Romy and Michelle's high school reunion on DVD. And that's my final offer. Lady, you've got yourself a deal. Later that evening, Romy opens the box and pulls out a rather odd-looking insect with a pair of tongs. Don't touch me, human. I don't know where you've been. Stay back. I'm warning you. Warning not heeded. Commencing attack procedure. Then she pins it to a board with a bug board pinning pin, only to discover that, holy shit, it's a foaming arse bug. But they were designed to die off shortly after sorting out the roach problem. I smell something fishy. Oh, sorry about that, I had kippers for lunch. Then as she's doing some tests, we see that big shadowy figure outside. And then, oh no, it's in the apartment and standing over the pierced foaming arse bug, which is like, "Help me, uncle, I've been stuck with a pinning pin." Sorry, little fella, looks like you're pretty buggered to me. Then it knocks over a lamp and Romy is like, "What was that? There better not be a man-sized insect mimicking a human being inside my apartment." Don't look behind you then. Who said that? But it's too late. The big bug bugger has buggered off and taken the lal one with it. On its way home, the big bug is once again noticed by Chewie.
Funny shoes.
Stop criticising my exoskeletal footwear, you little shit! Then the kid's dad walks over and says, "Come on, Chewie, it's time for bed." And the next morning we're in the subway where he's showing Chewie how to shine shoes. "First you slap her shoes with a cloth, 'cause they've been bad! Bad shoes!" Also, those kids were at the subway station showing Romy and Mr. Manana where they found the foaming ass bug. And she tells Chomper to keep an eye out for this big bug sack. "Then you attack her shoes vigorously with two brushes like ya. So Romy and Mr. Manana break into this locked off area and he's like, honey, I think we just found the bathroom from Saw." But then a cop shows up and, hey, it's Charles S. Dutton, with his pet sheep who he affectionately calls Mutton. "But Dutton died at the end of Alien 3. How is he still alive?" "For goodness sake, lad, that's a different movie entirely." "Eh? Different movie, different character." "No, it's the same fella." You see the utter nonsense I have to put up with. "Oh, maybe they resurrected him like Ripley in the fourth one." Lord help me. Anyway, Dutton is mad at his mutton for being a glutton because he ate all his Cadbury's buttons. But he doesn't stay mad at it for long because he loves Dutton's button glutton mutton. But he is annoyed that these two broke into the bathroom from Saw. So while Mr. Manana tries to explain what they're looking for, Romy watches Chewie doing some first-rate spoon clicking.
He's really good at that.
You come back with the proper permits, maybe we'll have a conversation.
Bah! Elsewhere, Chomper and Chonker are deep in the tunnels looking for the bug sack Romy was on about earlier, when one of them stands in something manky. Oh dear, looks like xenomorphs again. Best whip out your incinerators and harsh language. Then they find one of the bug sacks and Chonker says, "Is that it?" "Nah, this one's vertical, not horizontal." But as soon as they start cutting it free, they notice a shadowy figure watching them. Chomper falls over and lands in some barbed wire, before the shadowy figure is revealed to be a giant killer bug, which tears Chonker a new one, before sending Chomper on a one-way ticket to Deathsville. Next stop, Stabbington. Funny how they created these bugs to save children's lives and they end up taking more children's lives.
What kind of supreme being would condone such irony?
Later that evening, our friendly neighbourhood Chewie has decided to do some ill-advised middle-of-the-night urban exploration. He wanders around getting his nightly spoon clicks in before one of the bug bastards finds him.
Funny shoes.
"Right, that's it! Now I'm gonna do what I should have done before! Leave you alive, for some reason." The next morning and we see Mr. Manana sleeping face down in his pillow like a badass. 'Cause who needs to breathe, am I right? He then finds Romy checking a pregnancy test, but unfortunately it comes back negative. Ah, damn it. Looks like we're gonna have to make love some more. Then Romy gets a phone call saying they found something at the water treatment plant which she needs to see. So her and a friend go to see what's up and they're greeted by Norman Reedus, having absolutely no idea that one day we'll be able to make him pull funny faces in a mirror in Death Stranding. Anyway, he shows them what they found and says,
"It's a lobster, right?"
"A lobster? God, if that's a lobster."
I am Mickey Mouse.
How dare he?
Elsewhere, Mario somehow manages to make Chewie breakfast before even realising he's not there. But then he remembers Chewie always talking about
Mr. Funny Shoes.
So he goes looking for him at the abandoned church across the street. Meanwhile, Mr. Manana has recruited Baby Brolin, Dutton and Mutton to see if they can find more of the foaming arse bugs down in the tunnels below the subway. But instead they find a whole load of shit hanging off the walls.
Who the fuck would want to climb up these walls and hang one of these?
Please don't tell me you think a human is capable of leaving those. Unless Spider-Man's had a very bad tummy. Romy's waiting for the fellas at the subway station above and has a look at the photos of the not lobster they found. But to her horror, she sees that it has a somewhat human-shaped face on it. I think I'd be a bit more freaked out than she is, especially now that she's alone on the platform. Oh, never mind, there's a shadowy figure over there, so she asks,
Do you have the time?
Sorry, was that 8:45 or 9:55? I say, I'm gonna run away now. So she does, but the big bug bastard reveals its true form and whisks her off her feet with Romy like, "Help! I'm being kidnapped by a giant bug bastard!" Back to the fellas, and while they're collecting a Spider-Man shit sample, a foaming arse bug startles Dutton, who swiftly introduces it to his boot. Probably not a good idea to stamp on the precarious wooden platform. Told ya. So Mr. Manana and Dutton are stuck down there and they tell Baby Brolin to go get help. Elsewhere, Romy wakes up in the bug's food pantry and decides to arm herself in case it comes back. "Excuse me, sir, but can I borrow your pipe, please?" "Are you going to bring it back?" No. Then it's not borrowing, is it? "But yeah, of course you can, love. I don't need it 'cause I'm dead, eh?" Unfortunately, the bug bastard does come back, so she gives it a pipe stab and manages to crawl into a drain to escape, with the bug like, "Oh, you're lucky I'm not an octopus, but I do know a way down to you, so just stay there and I'll be right to kill you in a minute." Shortly after the bug leaves, Mario turns up and is like, "What are you doing down that hole, you crazy lady?" Meanwhile, Baby Brolin is looking for a way out, but instead finds a whole load of bug sacks. But the mammy bug isn't far away, so he's got to get out of there before it wakes up. He squeezes through this door and sees a hatch leading out of the sewers. He manages to climb up, but then slips because his shoes are all cacked up, which wakes up Mammy Bug. So he leaps back up and is about to get out, then slice! "No, I'm fine. Don't need my lower half anyway." Honestly, this has got to be one of my favourite kills in any monster movie. It's bloody brilliant, it is. Back to the others, and Dutton is trying to keep spirits high by singing a tune.
Yeah, I got a telegram this morning
Oh, was it good news?
saying my wife is dead.
Oh. Then they hear something coming from one of the tunnels, and Mario shows up saying he's found a lady who needs help. So they find Romy and begin lifting her out, but the Bug Bastid has finally found its way down to her. They make a run for the old subway car with the bug right behind them. Once inside they shut the door, but the bug gets jammed halfway through. Dutton fills it full of holes, but then the damn thing splits in two and scuttles underneath the seats.
What the fuck was that?
Giant killer Bug Bastid. I'd keep my distance if I were you, otherwise you might lose a shin. Told ya. After a few more bullets to the head, the bugger stops moving. But much like me on New Year's Day, Dutton's leg is in bad shape. Romy then tries to examine the dead bug, and is shocked at what she finds.
Peter, these are lungs.
And it looks like it's been smoking 40 a day for the last few years and all. Then she explains that the foaming arse bugs have somehow evolved to imitate humans, their new food source. It's not doing a bad job, to be fair, although I think it could benefit from a big fake moustache. But then a load more show up and start trying to break in, drawn by the smell of blood from Dutton's gammy leg. So Romy puts her quick thinking cap on and pulls out the scent glands from the dead bug, and everyone covers the windows in bug goo, making the others leave them alone for now. They've got to find a way out though, so Dutton comes up with a plan. If they can restore power to the subway car and switch the tracks, then it should take them most of the way up to the surface. So Mario and Mr. Maniner get gooed up with bug juice to disguise their scent, and Romy says,
Try not to sweat.
"Am I allowed to shit myself? I would try not to." So off they go with Mr. Maniner crawling into this hole to find the wiring for the car. He finds it, but then one of the bugs shows up right next to him. "Hello, fellow insect. Have you seen any humans around here?" No. I mean... Message understood? I'll look somewhere else, fella. You take care, lad. So it sods off, leaving him thinking, well, I did try not to shoot myself, but I failed. Then he bridges the circuit with his glasses, which conveniently were the exact right size to do so. Meanwhile, Mario is still looking for the track switch, but instead he finds Chewie, who distracts his dad just long enough for the one and only male bug to sneak up on him. Then for some strange reason, Chewie tells us his favourite 90s sitcom,
Friends.
before the male bug turns his dad's insides into outsides. Romy is worried that something's happened to Mario, so she goes to look for him. Sadly, she only finds Chewie next to a puddle of blood with Mario's cross in it. But thankfully the bug is nowhere to be seen. Now that the subway car has power, Dutton manages to get it moving, but it suddenly jolts to a halt and something heavy rolls onto his gammy leg, making it bleed even more. Mr. Maniner gets back to the car, but Dutton tells him to get away because he can't stop the bleeding, which will attract the bugs. Mr. Maniner then goes to find Romy, but they quickly get cornered by a load of bug bastards. So Dutton makes the heroic sacrifice by luring the bugs away from them with a trail of blood. It works all too well, and he's quickly attacked. He at least tries to put up a fight, but is eventually overpowered and killed. The others find some sort of dumb way to lift things, so Romy and Chewie get inside. Mr. Maniner closes the lift and says he's staying to stop the bugs before they spread, and he starts hoisting the lift up, much to Romy's disapproval. He then takes off into the tunnel he was in before, trying to escape from the incoming bugs. He manages to make it into a big room and closes a metal hatch like, "Ha ha! You ain't getting through that, you exoskeletal Egypts!" But then he realises the room he's now in contains dozens, if not hundreds, of sleeping bug bastards.
Fuck!
Elsewhere, Romy and Chewie are trying to squeeze their way out of the lift, when that dastardly male bug starts following them. Romy gets out of the lift just in time, and before she gives it a taste of gravity, says the same thing I said when my driving instructor told me to reverse park for the first time. Back to Mr. Maniner, who has realised the bugs have built their nest among pipes of flammable gas. So, like me in my teenage years, he starts whacking the pipe like there's no tomorrow. Obviously, this starts to wake up the bugs, so he pulls out Mario's lighter, but oh no! It isn't working! Then he gets attacked and drops the lighter through the floor grate into the water below. But this gives him an idea. He pulls the floor grate off and tries to create a spark with his crowbar thing. And just as the bugs surround him, he gets a spark and boom! The whole place and all the bugs go kablamo, with Mr. Maniner diving into the water below at the last second to avoid the flames. Up on the subway tracks, Romy narrowly avoids being turned into cinders. But so did the male bug, and it's heading right towards Chewie! So Romy cuts her hand with Mario's cross to get its attention, and lures the male down the subway tracks towards an oncoming train. Then at the last second she darts out of the way and the bug gets absolutely wrecked. Yeah, take that, you shit! So the day is saved, Romy thinks Mr. Manana is dead, but turns out he's not. Yay! And Chewie says, "Are you guys gonna adopt me?" Aw, Chewie. Of course not. Bah! End of movie. And there we have it, folks. Mimic is an excellent 90s creature feature which is up there with the decade's best. It's got a well-written story with solid characters, it's brilliantly directed with a creepy atmosphere, and has some great practical effects too. I've always thoroughly enjoyed this movie, and I think it deserves a lot more love and recognition than it gets. I'm also looking forward to covering the sequels, even if they don't hold a candle to the original. Mimic 2 is a 2001 creature feature directed by Jean de Segonzac. The human mimicking insects are back, and this time a schoolteacher obsessed with bugs becomes targeted by one of the creatures, which has terrifying intentions. So the movie begins with the opening credits and somebody please stop this seizure roller coaster! I want to get off! Then we see this fella on the New York City subway tracks thinking, hang on a minute, this isn't my hotel room! In fact, I'm starting to think this isn't the hotel at all! So he checks this sign and, ooh, you don't want to go up a dark alley on that street, let me tell you. So instead he asks this mysterious figure for directions. Excuse me, sir, but do you know how to get to the handicapped shrew hotel? Yes, I do like potatoes, but what does that have to do with anything? No, I don't have any on me. Man, you don't have to get some weirdos on the subway, don't you? So he goes outside and is like, oh no, I've got to get these bags inside before it rains. But then he sees the mysterious figure again, standing in his way. Look, mate, I don't have any potatoes, so sod off! Then it slices through him like a hot knife through a boiled potato. In the mood for potatoes this week, are we? I'm always in the mood for potatoes, me, like. They are arguably the most versatile vegetable. Then we see this cab driver thinking, you know what? Despite the poor weather, today has been a good day, and nothing can take that away from me. And bloody hell, that's the fastest emergency services response time I have ever seen. Then we meet Detective Rugged, who goes to check on the taxi driver. You okay, sir? Well, despite the car crash and my unexpected death, today has been a good day, and nothing can take that away from me. They also find the corpse of Mr. Hotel Patron.
You ever seen this before?
Oh, I've only seen that once before, and I was sick everywhere. Oh, is that so? Then we're at this well-maintained public school where we meet our protagonist, Remy. But I'm going to call her Rennie, because it sounds similar but is actually an antacid tablet. You might also recognise her as Romy's friend in the first Mimic.
Ah, so it is. You know, I barely recognised her.
Well, you clearly aren't as astute as me, Ken. It only took me 24 years to realise that. Anyway, she's a biology teacher and is educating her pupils about ants. So, to summarise, ants are really small. Any questions? Wow, miss, ants are shit. No, you're shit, Jamie! Anyway.
I want each of you to choose an insect and write a report describing what your life would be like as that insect.
Man, I would have loved to get an assignment like that in school. I would have written about my life as a ginny spinner.
A what?
You know, a daddy long legs.
A what?
A crane fly?
A what?
A ginny spinner! How do you not know what a bloody ginny spinner is, Ken? I am a ginny spinner. In summer I am plentiful, especially in your house and up in your face. I pose no threat to humans, but I'm annoying as fuck. A+. Later that evening, we're at Rennie's house, where she's asleep while her pet lizard and spider are watching Pulp Fiction on telly.
Everybody be cool, this is a robbery!
Please don't shoot me! I have a wife and 350 kids! But Rennie is having some big bad bug dreams and wakes up thinking, right, that's the last time I watch Mothman prophecies before bed. Or ever again. The next morning at school, and this kid, who I'm going to call Sid, because I mean, that's just kid with an S, isn't it, is reading his insect story to the class.
I live in the ground. My family's all dead. Sometimes it makes me feel angry. I think about the other insects. I want to know if they're happy, because if they are happy, I want to hurt them.
Thank you for that, Sid. That was morbid and highly concerning. On her way out to lunch, Rennie says hi to the janitor, who is sick of fixing up this dump and has just accepted another job elsewhere.
The only thing I'm going to miss around this place is you.
Oh, poor guy may as well have bug food tattooed on his forehead. Rennie goes outside and is accosted by her former student who has a crush on her. I'm going to call him Wheatus. Anyway, he asks her out, but Rennie turns him down. Looks like the only date he's got tonight is with her boxer tissues. Meanwhile, Sid the morbid kid finds a massive gaping hole in the playground wall and sees something weird inside. Hello there, young fella. Come on in. I'll just put the kettle on. No thanks, whatever you are. I have to return some videotapes. Bye! Ah, fair enough. More tea for me then. Oh, I may even have a biscuit for dipping. Lovely. Later that day, Rennie is chilling at home with her dual scissors when she hears a knock at the door. Turns out it's this fella who she went on a date with once, but it didn't work out because he was too nice. See? He's even brought her flowers. But Rennie tells him she's busy scissoring, and... What? What's funny about that? Oh, nothing. Carry on, lad. So she closes the door, but because he's such a kind and gentle soul, he opens it again and leaves the flowers for her before heading off. What a gentleman. I hope he dies horribly.
Oh God, I'm a wacko magnet.
That evening, Rennie goes out to walk her bike in the rain as normal, but almost bumps into the big bug bastard. Oh, excuse me, giant bug pretending to be a human. I didn't see you there. Then we see Mr. Nice Guy hanging above it, minus a face. Boy, that was quick. And well deserved. Then we see Rennie out on a date with this fella, who after their meal has only one thing on his mind. Waving goodbye really oddly. But then he gets slapped by a bug man. Twice! Thrice! And we see him get dragged up the side of this building with this dog in an apartment like, oh my God, Sarah, there's a bug man dragging a fella up the side of the building! Sarah! Oh, no, he's gone now. He's gone now. Right, where's me kibble at? Sarah? Sarah! On her way home, Rennie runs into Detective Rugged skulking in a dark alley, because that's the most sensible place to approach a woman alone at night, isn't it? He's there to talk about Mr. Hotel Patron, who used to be a colleague of hers, but she never liked him because he smelt like burnt toast.
What are you writing?
It's a grocery list.
In the middle of our conversation? Fucking rude. We also see the big bug bastard eavesdropping at the window like, I spy with my buggy eye something beginning with... After he leaves, Detective Rugged spots something hanging above him in the alley. Who's that dangling? Come down here immediately! Oh, it's a dead man. Then how did he obey my demand? So they take Rennie in for questioning, and Detective Rugged says,
You really have to hate looking at someone and want to rip his face clean off.
Unless you wanted to wear his face, like in that movie. Face Off? No. Silence of the Lambs? No, not that one. House of the Dead. Oh, great. Thanks for reminding me that movie exists. Fortunately for Rennie, they don't have any evidence to hold her, so they let her go. Detective Rugged's colleague is convinced that she's the killer, though.
Do me a favor, will you? Hand me that desk over there while you're up, okay?
Oh, I see what you're doing. Last time I tried to pick up that desk, you set me on fire! So no!
Give me the goddamn desk.
Ooh, alright, Mr. Grouchy. But this time, don't set me on fire, alright?
A few minutes later.
You son of a bitch!
Then we see the school janitor partaking in his favourite pastime, eating food. Because humans require regular sustenance, don't they? Afterwards, he sets off back to the school at night for some reason, and look at his shadow! Oh my God, it's as wide as it is wibbly. Anyway, he makes it back to the school, but goes through a hole in the playground fence instead of using the gate because he wants to get some quick exercising on these bars. But while he's straining harder than Elvis taking a shit, the bug bastard swoops in and, oh dearie me, my abdomen has been eviscerated. Inside the school, Rennie is finishing up her work when Sid shows up out of nowhere. Turns out he's having family trouble at home, because he has neither a home nor a family, apparently. So Rennie says he can stay with her for now. Back to Detective Rugged, who heads to Rennie's apartment to speak to her again, but finds the door ajar. He goes inside and it looks like someone's ransacked the place. Who the hell did this? Was it you, lizard, playing hide-and-seek? No. Then he finds Rennie's creepy collection of photos from every time someone has made her cry. Yeah, you'd think she was fairly mental if you found them, wouldn't you? He closes the closet and... Oh, don't scare me like that, me. Sorry, me. Then he leaves only to find these fellas from the CDC combing the area with their UV hairdryers.
I got something here.
What the hell? Is that semen?
Aye, 'cause someone just decided to bang one off in the hallway, didn't they? I can't tell whether you're being serious or not. Oh, I'm serious. As Serious Sam. Oh, I love that video game. Video game? Back to Rennie and Sid, who are on their way out of the school when... Who stacked up all this detritus? Hey? Hey?
Lou! Hey, Lou!
I'm fucking Lou. Who the fuck are you?
But Lou is dead, so the principal shows up instead. Then as he begins to dismantle the blockage, the bug bastard drops down and gives him the old 1-2 stab. So Rennie and Sid run off, looking a bit less concerned than I would be. Yeah, I think I'd be a bit more like, run! Rennie knows what the bug bastards are though, because she was in the first movie. So they hide in this room, when suddenly Wheatus comes darting out of the darkness.
What are you doing here?
And why did you launch yourself out of the darkness at me, you weirdo?
You two, go to the door and keep an eye on the hall.
Why?
Because I'm the fucking teacher and I said so.
You swore. I'm telling on you. but they have to move as the Bug Bastid has found them, so they go into the basement area and lock the door. Wheatus wants to know what's going on, so Rennie explains the plot of the first movie and says,
They evolved to mimic their only real predator, us.
Looks kind of like Lou, the janitor.
They can't mimic specific people.
Something tells me they're gonna learn how to mimic specific people. While looking around, Wheatus finds a familiar suitcase under these pipes. Hey, that's my suitcase! I may not have a face or life left in me, but it's still mine! So Wheatus goes to open it and Rennie tells him not to. But then it pops open by itself and a load of baby Bug Bastids starts spilling out all over the place. So the gang are like,
Stupid bug! You go squish now!
And start stamping the little buggers like there's no tomorrow. Which I don't think the big Bug Bastid is going to be very happy about. Outside we see Detective Rugged turn up at the school and he sees this bike outside and thinks, nice bike that. Might nick that later if I remember. So the others decide to leave before the big Bug Bastid finds out what they've done to its young'uns. They walk down this hallway where the lights are dimming for the sole reason of making it look creepy. Once they're back in the school proper, they hear the Bug Bastid screeching, signalling that it's found the mess they made in the basement. They make it to the wall of detritus and begin making a hole to climb through. But they've got to hurry as the Bug Bastid has found them again. But the Bug Bastid just breaks through the barricade like it's nothing, and corners Rennie, who thinks this is the end. But nope, it's not the end, because instead of killing her, it offers her a slice of pizza?
Come again.
Thank you, Mr. Bug, but I am very, very confused. Then suddenly Detective Rugged shows up and blasts the bugger, but bullets won't keep it down for long, so they all leg it. They lock themselves in the principal's office and aim a load of lamps at the door because it doesn't like lamps because lamps killed its parents when it was just a larva. Then Rennie gets on the phone to a special branch of the CDC and tells them that they have a big Bug Bastid problem.
Are you armed? Are we armed?
Are you asking me if we have arms? Because, yes, we all have arms. So the UV hairdryer brigade are inbound, and Rennie has finally put it together that this particular Bug Bastid has a thing for her, and it's on the other side of the wall, following her scent back and forth. Wheatus then comes up with the idea of leaving her scent behind by pinning her close to the wall, which will trick it while they escape. So Rennie tells Detective Rugged to leave with Sid first, while she takes her clothes off in front of the horny teenager. 'Cause that decision makes sense! Fortunately, it looks like the plan is working. That is until the damn phone starts ringing, which riles up the creature. Back outside and who the hell jumps out of a truck with their hands up in the air? Bloody star jump fuck McTruck, that's who. Detective Rugged and Sid make it outside and he tells them that Rennie and Wheatus need help in the principal's office.
No, we just rang it. There's nobody in there. Alive, at least.
Aye, we rang it, but nobody answered us, so they're 100% dead. Detective Rugged ain't having it though, so he gives this fella a schmack, takes his gun and runs back inside, where the Bug Bastid has found Rennie and Wheatus. She realises that it's now trying to kill Wheatus as it thinks of other males as competition, so Rennie keeps him behind her. But then, oh no! It stabs her with its claw! Thankfully, Rugged shows up and shoots the bugger in the head while Wheatus escapes. But it doesn't stay down for long and gives the detective a nasty face slice. Then we see Rennie waking up in some sort of hive and falls to the ceiling. Oh great, the whole world is upside down now. Oh no, it was just the camera. Silly me. But Rennie ain't feeling too good after her stabbing, and wanders around in a daze and pantless. Thankfully, Detective Rugged finds her, but something about him seems a bit off. They get to the exit, which is covered by a plastic sheet, and the place starts filling up with anti-bug gas, so Rennie cuts through it before passing out again. Then we see the CDC lot searching the building, and they find the Bug Bastid's malted husk, meaning it's likely taken a new form. Sometime later, Rennie wakes up in a hospital where the doctor tells her that they've treated her wound, which was full of insect larvae. Ew. Cheeky bugger. Didn't even take her out to dinner first. Well, it brought her that slice of pizza, so technically it did. Oh yeah, still gross though. A few weeks later and Rennie is all better now, and is Sid's new foster parent apparently. So she takes him home and says,
Check out the new door. 3-inch reinforced steel.
So she goes inside and, hey, who put the baby Bug Bastid case in my apartment? Then she hears someone at the door, and she opens it to find, oh, it's only Detective Rugged. Why are you covered in blood and spunk?
What is that? What the fuck is that?
Turns out the Bug Bastid has killed Detective Rugged and morphed into a new Rugged-esque outer casing, which is bloody mental. And Rennie is like, say, you could really do with a shave. Here, let me help you. Whoops, my hand slipped. And so Rennie and Sid sit and look at the deceased monstrosity before them, probably wondering how this all happened. But the only thing I'm left wondering is, why is there an enormous hole in her ceiling? End of movie. And there we have it, folks. Mimic 2 is obviously a step down in quality from the first movie, missing a lot of the Guillermo del Toro flair and clearly limited by a lower budget. But to be honest, I think for a straight-to-video sequel, it's actually pretty good. I like the characters, the special effects are great, and it has some pretty cool new ideas. I think if you keep your expectations in check, then you can have a pretty good time with this one. Mimic 3. Sentinel is a 2003 creature feature directed by J.T. Petty. A Strickler's disease survivor confined to his New York apartment passes the time by photographing the world outside his window, but when his neighbours begin to disappear, he suspects that the human-mimicking bugs have returned once again. So the movie begins with this fella doing something, but we don't get to see what it is, so let's just assume he's making a bacon sandwich. Oh dear, looks like he was too vigorous with the tomato ketchup. Then we see someone partaking in that normal everyday activity, watching a kid at night through a camera. The kid wanders into this dark alley and finds a pair of glasses on the ground thinking, "Ha! Up yours, Vision Express! I get my spectacles for free!" But then he hears something odd nearby and finds this poor little piggy on, all like,
"Do yourself a favor. Don't turn around." I told you not to turn around.
But all the photographer sees is a dark figure disappearing into the night. And from the side he looks a bit like Chris Evans. An anemic Chris Evans, so let's call him Captain Anemica. Or maybe just Cap for short. Then we get the opening credits with some music I can only describe as being perfect for a knife fight between two loaves of bread. We also see that Cap has made a big collage from photos of the apartment complex opposite his building. He can't really go outside, you see, because he's allergic to air. Or to be more specific, he's a survivor of Strickler's disease, which was the cockroach plague from the first Mimic. Then his sister shows up and tells him she's found something cool outside.
"I think we found a dead body."
Usually people don't smile after saying such things, so I don't know if I trust you. I'm going to call her Grin, because she is smiling for about 85% of her screen time.
"Did you finish my biology homework?"
Yeah, I did, but I don't think you're going to like my answers. What are the most important parts of a cell? The fists, so it can beat up Goku and his mates. Describe what DNA is. A Predator ripoff starring Mark Dacascos and Jurgen Prochnow. Are genes hereditary? If my dad passed his genes down to me, I don't think I'd wear them. He's probably pumped in them loads. A+. As Cap is window watching, Grin says,
"What do you see?"
Outside, obviously. But I also see that shady looking fella who moved into the neighbourhood recently.
"What are you looking at now?"
Still outside! But also,
"Oh my god, world's #1 dad just lost his shit."
Well, I can't imagine it'd be too hard to find. Just follow the smell. Later that day, Cap sees his sister sat on a bench waiting for someone. And she's even smiling to herself when she's on her own. But when the guy turns up, Cap notices that she's buying drugs off him. And is like, "Hey, sell drugs to my sister and I'll dob you in, you shit. Unless you scoppers a free 20 bag, then I might just forget what I've seen." Then his mum comes in with his lunch and, "Pulp Fiction! Ah! Don't shout suddenly like that! These big ears are very sensitive." Oh, sorry, Ken, I just get so excited when I see someone in a film that I recognise from another movie. My word. I wish I was that easy to please. Anyway, his mum, who I'm obviously going to call Honey Bunny, looks at his wall collage and says,
"What the neighbours must think."
Probably nothing, because they'll likely never see it, will they? Anyway, she leaves him to his casual voyeurism and, come on, dude, you took 2 tissues to wipe your mouth after drinking water. Think of the trees! Then go and grab a third one because that sycamore over there called you a tosser. Then Grin shows up again, but this time she's brought someone with her. It's that lady from the apartments across the street who Cap likes to watch trimming her toenails, which isn't creepy or weird in the slightest. So I'm going to call her Trim. She sees his collage and says,
"It's kind of pervy."
Yeah. And what's this photo? Oh, I call that one Kid About to Regret Winding Up Such a Colossal Stomp.
"Are you okay?"
You smoke.
"Yeah, but I put it out before I even came inside." "Yeah, it doesn't matter, he's hypersensitive."
Later that evening, and we see this old lady buying something from our resident drug dealer. Old lady, you really don't need to keep buying Parma violets off me in secret. They sell them at the store, you know. But then they hear something down this alley, and out pops that shady-looking fella from a sewer drain. Mr. Dealer goes in for a closer look, while the old lady runs off like, "Heh, now to head to the store and buy some ketamine to go with me sweets." For some reason, Mr. Drug Dealer hides behind this wall with a knife, as if he's expecting the guy to attack him for no reason. But then he gets squirted with blood, and is like, "Oh, are you kidding me? The last thing I need is hepatitis to go along with my syphilis." But then he turns around to find a big Bug Bastid stood there saying, "Evening, good fellow. Do you have any Parma violets for sale, perchance?" Damn it, what is the obsession with those things? They taste like perfume. "How dare you, sir! I will eviscerate you for such slander! Cap and Grin see his body get dragged away, so they ask their mum to call the cops. A short time later and this detective turns up, and Honey Bunny says,
Do I know you?
Yeah, I was in Mimic 3. Ah, yeah, that's right. He was also in The Relic. Was he? Who did he play in that? Cappuccino, I believe. You know, I probably didn't recognise him because he's likeable in that movie, and the exact opposite in this one. I'm going to call him Detective Richard Head. So Cap and Grin tell him what happened, but the rain outside has washed away all the blood, and Cap ran out of film so he couldn't take any pictures. He thinks they're making it all up for attention, and asks Honey Bunny if her husband might have seen anything.
Cancer.
No thanks, I've heard it's awful. Then he belittles her kids some more, and she does bugger all about it because she's somehow taken a liking to this arsehole. Cut to a few days later and he's now dating Honey Bunny, much to the disgust of Cap. Then Grin and Trim show up, and Trim says that she's seen that shady-looking fella skulking around a lot recently. So Cap asks,
What's he look like?
Have you ever seen the movies Aliens or Pumpkinhead? No. Well, you're missing out because they're great. Anyway, he looks a lot like the actor Lance Henriksen, but with a hat and glasses.
You're wearing perfume.
Oh, God, I didn't even think.
So Trim tries to leave, but can't get past his flailing. On to the next day, and can you guess what Cap's up to? Huffing oxygen? Nope. Spying on the neighbours? Nope. He's spying on the neighbours. Well, that's what I just... With this painter talking to his pet parrot, when all of a sudden... Oh my God, my yellow paint! I don't think it's breathing! Somebody, call an ambulance! But then Trim turns up again saying...
Guess what?
What?
I've given up everything. No cigarettes, no perfume.
Oh, that's great, thanks. But tell me, have you eaten peanuts within the last 3 years? Yeah, I think so. Then Grin shows up, and for the first time in the movie, she isn't smiling. Trim thinks it's because she hasn't had her daily dose of vitamin weed, which pisses her off even more.
You know, fuck off, Carmen. Get on with fucking my brother so I can stop chaperoning you over here.
Jeez Louise, don't sugarcoat it, Grin. Tell her what you really think. She quickly apologises for being blunt, as she's just frustrated because no one's doing anything about Mr. Dealer's disappearance, and because Richard Head is always around now being a member noggin. Cap thinks that shady fella across the street might have something to do with the recent disappearances, and Trim says her dad is the building manager, so she might be able to steal the key to the shady guy's apartment. What do you think, Cap?
Terrible idea. Fucking terrible idea.
Well, if he's up for it, then so am I. Let's do it. Ugh, fine, but I'm going to need to be high as a kite to go along with this. Oh, looks like I'm running low. I'll have to buy more from the internet oxygen shop. So Cap has a look around to see if the shady fella is out so the girls can check his apartment. But then he notices 2 mysterious figures in the painter's apartment below. And it's a good job he's at the Yellow Paint's funeral today. The girls go into the shady guy's apartment while Cap keeps a lookout through his camera. And who knew we were going to get 2 movies in the space of 3 weeks which have similarities to Hitchcock's Rear Window? Certainly not me! But then someone comes out of the darkness and grabs Grin. So Trim legs it, leaving Cap thinking, oh my god, what am I gonna do? Then he goes to ask his mum for help, only to hear her and Richard Head playing a game of Hungry Hungry Hippos, or whatever it is adults do in the bedroom with the door locked. Oh, and the painter's day goes from bad to worse too, because as soon as he gets home from the funeral, he's attacked and killed by a bug bastard. Poor fella. At least he can be buried next to his precious yellow paint. Back to Cap, whose mum is more bothered that her intimate board game session with Richard was interrupted than her daughter being in danger. So Cap says,
I'm calling the cops.
I am the cops!
Well, how many cops are you then? Because I only see one and he's useless as fuck. Then they hear someone banging on the door, and they open it to find Lance Fothermucking Henriksen. Oh yeah! And he's got Grin with her, saying she broke into his apartment. So Richard says,
You are not leaving your room till you are cleaned up. You understand?
Who do you think you are?
Exactly! He's known her for less than a week and he's bossing her around. If I was her, I would have hit the prick. With a sledgehammer. To the nuts.
Ring the mummy daddy button!
Grin then storms off, with her mum apologising on her behalf. And it looks as though she's gone to live with Trim for now, with the two of them just chilling outside when Lance comes out for a shady meeting with these fellas. But what could he be selling them? Tartan paint? Matey bubble bath? Parma violets? Actually, no, the shop ran out of those quicker than bought licence plates.
We are sold out of bought licence plates.
Meanwhile, Cap is tidying his room when he recognises the author on the back of one of his books. It's Lance! Turns out he's an expert on the Bug Bastards. And speaking of bastards, Cap notices Richard Head has gone out for a walk. And somehow both he and this lady bump into each other despite them being the only 2 people on the entire street. That is until Richard spots a mysterious figure in the shadows and goes to ask them a question, only for it to be a bug bastard, who proceeds to give him a proper good stabbing. The lady nearby notices, and this other one is like, "Stay calm and move along, miss. This is official Bug Bastid business." Actually, on second thought. And so Richard ends up more holy than a Swiss cheese-flavoured Bible. Jesus Christ, the things that get some folk off. Disgusting. Then he has a last spaz out before getting a phone call from Trim saying that her and Grin are eavesdropping on Lance's dodgy meeting. Turns out he's selling them Bug Bastid eggs, which he's been pilfering from a nest down in the sewers. But the numpty buying it goes and opens the bag, and the smell attracts the nearby Bug Bastards, with Grin and Trim right in the middle of them. Then it attacks, stabbing Grin and then ripping the buyers to pieces, with Lance diving into the car to avoid being turned into a kebab. But he's got a plan, so he whips out a... he whips out a cellophane... Oh my god. He whips out... That's terrible. I can't even...
No more drugs for that man.
He whips out a cellophane-wrapped pigeon and chucks it at them like, "Here, take this pigeon and sod off, you bug bastards!" Bastards! The plan works and they leave him alone for now, and he notices Trim and the wounded Grin nearby. And poor old Cap can't even do anything to help because his lungs are not very good lungs. But what he can do is call 911, so he does. Then Lance, being a reek bugger, picks up Grin and locks her in the trunk of the car before squirting it with blood. Well, I'm afraid you get a C- for effort, love, and a solid F for effectiveness. Then Lance holds her at gunpoint, makes her pick up the egg bag, and they make their way to Cap's house while a Bug Bastid descends on the trunk of the car and tries to stab its way in. But thankfully, after a while, they leave her alone and follow the scent of the egg. Lance shows up in Cap's apartment, pushes him over because he's a rotter, and tells Trim to put the egg in the fridge because they taste better cold.
Nobody does anything stupid, and nobody has to die early.
Well, I'd prefer not to die at all if that's an option, Lance. Then he explains.
That egg is one of thousands underground. We've already lost. It's over.
Well, it is with that kind of attitude. Whatever happened to a bit of optimism, eh? Eh? But then they hear something at the door, and it opens to reveal... Oh, it's just Honey Bunny. It was like, "Hey everyone. Oh, hi Lance. Are you staying for dinner? Although I do have a no shotguns at the dinner table policy. Not after what happened to Cap's father." What? But then a Bug Bastid appears and skewers Honey Bunny from behind. So Lance lobs a Molotov cocktail at it, which sets both her and the bug ablaze. Which she kind of deserved for siding with that dickhead over her own kids. But nevertheless, I'm pretty sure this is going to traumatise Cap for the rest of his life. Anyway, that's one Bug Bastid down. But another one starts breaking through the wall to get in. Hang on a moment, how is Cap not choking to death on the smoke? Shh! It's near the end of the movie! But as Cap and Trim make their way into the kitchen...
Don't shoot at us!
Bit late for that, mate. He's already shot her. Lance takes out the egg from the fridge, but then the bug knocks Cap out of the way and stabs the ever-loving shit out of Lance. It's fairly brutal-like, and very entertaining to boot. Meanwhile, Cap drags Trim out to the balcony away from the chaos. Then he comes up with a plan. He cuts into the egg to make it extra smelly, and puts it in the oven along with some oxygen canisters, just as more of the Bug Bastards show up. Then he hides in the fridge and tries to hold the door shut as they stab him through it. Before, boom! The canisters ignite and the whole apartment goes kablamo! Sometime later, and the CDC show up, find Cap in the fridge and are like,
"Where is Lieutenant Ripley? Is she still alive?"
But Cap clearly has no idea what they're talking about, so they just drop it. And so the day is saved. They find Grin in the car trunk and take all three of our heroes to the hospital, where Trim goes to check on Cap and is like, "How are you feeling?" "Like I got stabbed loads while hiding in a fridge." "You?" "I'm okay, though I'm somewhat concerned about the impending Bug Bastid apocalypse." "Oh yeah. Well here, I bought some flowers to help cheer you up." "Aw, thanks. But wait, are you allergic to flowers?" End of movie. And there we have it, folks. And I've got to say, I am genuinely surprised at how good this movie is. Now, don't get me wrong, it's nowhere near the same quality as the first movie, but for a low-budget, straight-to-video sequel, I think this is one of the best I've seen in a long time. I really hope that one day they make another Mimic movie showing what happens when all those bug eggs underground hatch, but until then, I guess I'll just have to keep dreaming. So, the Mimic Trilogy, what did you think of it? Did you like it? Did you love it? Let me know in the comments below while I go and play some more Elden Ring Night Rain. I mean, write the next review.